Duke Street runs from St Andrew Street, originally as far as St Mary's Plain, but subsequently extended as far as the roundabout on the Inner Link Road, taking in part of Pitt Street in the process. This is the view from St John Madder Market across to Duke Street as seen in 2024, and this is what that view had looked like 60 years earlier in 1964, with Duke Street much narrower, with Lambert's on the left and the library on the right. Moving into Duke Street itself currently looks like this, but had looked like this in the early 20th century. The area on the right had been the site of the Duke's Palace, which gives the street its name. This dated from 1561 and was reputed to have contained the first bowling alley in Britain. Here are the foundations as seen in 1974, and to orientate yourself, the windows are the same as those on the other side of Duke Street. The Duke in question was the Duke of Norfolk. This is St Andrew's car park in 2024, dating originally from the 1960s, demolished in 2002, replaced but needing structural repairs by 2014. You can see the original car park on the right of this picture behind the Duke's Palace pub as seen in 1967, but not looking very different in 1934, where there was a chimney where the car park would be 30 years later. I can't establish exactly what the chimney was, but this is it looking north from St Andrew Street, effectively into the present day pedestrian entrance to the car park. Back onto Duke Street, and the electricity works, floodlit for the coronation of King George VI in 1937, compared to the present day equivalent. We're now looking east at the bridge across the River Wensum, this view dating from 1978. This bridge had been built in 1972, at which point Duke Street was widened to take traffic onto the inner ring road. The original bridge was built in 1822 and is seen here in 1934. It was re-erected in 1991 at the entrance to the Castle Quarter car park. Looking across the bridge on the eastern side currently looks like this, but the scene was very different in 1932 when cake importers and corn merchants Butler and Hakon found their premises had collapsed into the river. A little further up, at the northern end of the Premier Inn site, was the Moon and Stars pub. This was the pub seen in 1967, 10 years after its closure. On the opposite side, and dating from 1888, is the former Duke Street School, seen here in the year 2000, now part of the Norwich University of the Arts. This picture dates from the 1912 floods. This is an early 20th century view looking in the opposite direction. On the extreme left of this photo is the Golden Star pub, dating from 1864 and seen on the right hand side of this photo. This is the equivalent view from 1989. We'll cover the rest of the street on the eastern side and then return to the junction with Colgate on the western side. These are numbers 43 to 59 in 2024 and are seen here in 1989. This is the current view of the junction with Muspole Street, and this picture shows air raid damage having taken place during the Second World War. This is the other side of the Muspole Street junction, showing the former Whip and Nag pub, which closed in 1960 and is seen here in 1978. This 1937 photo illustrates that this part of Duke Street was originally part of Pitt Street. This is the Whip and Nag from the opposite direction in 1936, together with the 2024 equivalent. The pub's name is retained in the Whip and Nag yard. Finally, for this side of Duke Street, we look towards the roundabout in 2024 at what would have been numbers 17 to 23 Pitt Street when this photo was taken in 1938. On the opposite side, this 2024 view was the site of the Flower in Hand pub, which closed in 1965, seen here just before its demolition. This is St Mary's Coslany, now deconsecrated, but known as the church where Luke Hansard, who printed the journals of the House of Commons, was christened. This is the 1937 view. On the opposite corner is the Norwich Central Baptist Church, which replaced this earlier church destroyed in World War II. This current view of number 36 Duke Street occupies the site of the premises of E.G. Reeve, seen here in 1936, who were suppliers of kitchen equipment. Finally, we return to the junction with Colgate with a look at Regency House, a Grade II listed building dating from the mid-19th century and seen here in 1955.